Hello everyone and welcome to another Star Wars The Old Republic Q&A video. Now, we've been asked quite a few questions on this in relation to our gearing video that we did in 3.0, and the question that is asked is, how important is accuracy, how important is accuracy and what should we be looking for in terms of accuracy? Now we have to examine what should be the target that we're trying to hit for accuracy was the question. Now we need to take a look at the character. Each class has two types of attack. Okay, your Jedi classes have melee and force. Regardless of the class, it is melee and force. Your Jedi and Sith classes, we should say. Your non-Jedi and your non-force user classes, your bounty hunter, trooper, agent and smuggler, they have ranged and tech attacks. So we have to look at the two types of attack. As you can see here, we have melee attacks and we have force attacks. We're using the Shadow as an example because the Shadow has an equal amount of force and melee attacks. How do you tell if it's a force attack or a melee attack? Well, most of the things have, the clue is in the title: force imbalance, sever force, force breach, force attacks essentially. If you really can't tell by the title, what you do is you look at the damage number, the damage text. If it is yellow, it is a force attack, and if it is white, it is a melee attack. Now we didn't get a proc there. You can see we got a white and a yellow because our force technique, if we turn our force technique off, we won't get a... You can see we won't get that, or we do get it with the thing. We'll turn all our techniques off. We'll just disable that. Oops, wrong button. So you can see on the targeting dummy, every single melee attack that we're doing is white. So that's how to tell what it is you're doing. We'll put up our force technique. The reason why we got a yellow thing is because our force technique deals additional force damage, essentially, for the Shadow. So what are the caps for accuracy? Now, the cap for melee is 100%. That's what you should be looking for. Basically, it is the success to hit. So attacks can be parried or dodged. Melee attacks can be parried if they're below 100%, if your accuracy is below 100%, and ranged attacks can be dodged. That's the difference in dodge and parry. So we don't want any of our melee attacks to be parried. We want 100. I'm at 100.29 because what I'm trying to do is get to the 101% accuracy, and then I am going to drop a piece. So we're kind of in that transitional phase. We're at that 192 point. We're still some 186. So we're at that sort of 192 point in our gearing where we're transitioning over from 186 to 192. So we do have a couple of 186 pieces with accuracy in them. If we can get it up to 100.5, we can drop one of the augments. If we can get it to 101, however, we can drop one piece of gear. That's the good thing about this accuracy system. So it is very, very important. It is your most important DPS stat, is accuracy. Now, force attacks is a different thing altogether. 110, note that these two are the exact same, 100.29, 110.29, because if you look at our base accuracy, for melee or ranged, it's 90. If we have no accuracy stats, it's 90%. And if we have no accuracy, our force is 100. But bear in mind that all elite or higher mobs at level 55, beyond level 55 and beyond, have a built-in 10% chance to resist force and tech attacks, should say. I was going to say melee attacks there, but yeah, they have a built-in 10% chance to resist. So we do not want any of our force attacks being resisted. We do not want any of our melee attacks being resisted in our case. So again, that's why it's our most important stat. Some people say you can get away with things like 99.5%. It's probably not going to make a huge difference. Or you can get away with, you know, but things like 95, 96%, I would be concerned. Because what you want while raiding, while doing progression raiding in particular, is consistency. It's all about consistent DPS. That's what it's all about. It's about being able to produce that DPS consistently. If you don't have your accuracy at 100%, if you're not capped, then there is that chance, small as it may be, that your attack resists or is parried in our melee case. So we don't want our attacks to be resisted or parried, because it is a huge DPS loss. Because imagine if it is your, you know, force and balance does it does a lot of our damage. Force and balance, serenity strike, spinning strike. Imagine spinning strike gets parried. You know, imagine the boss parries our spinning strike. If I could get the proc up for it, I could show you. So imagine this. There, we got the proc up. You can see it does quite a nice chunk of damage. We've got those dots sticking there, which are force attacks. But again, if you look at that, or our Vanquish, things like our Vanquish being resisted, we don't want any of these dots to be resisted, because a lot of our damage actually comes from things like Vanquish and Spinning Strike. You can see, you know, it's like 4k damage. That wasn't the crit one. And we get things like our 7k there, nice big crit there. If that gets resisted, and bear in mind that we've got to hit our target to get our Stalker's bonus damage for our 2-piece set bonus. I've got the 2-piece on this one, at least for this character. This is an alt, of course. So again, we do not want these things to be resisted, because we're gonna suffer. I mean, one day we're doing 3k DPS on one boss, and then the next time we do the same boss, we're doing 2.5k, and that, you know, that it can be a difference maker. You know, it can be a difference, because what we want is, for DPS, is we want a nice average. It's never going to be the same. It is never ever going to be the same, because we've got things like crit. But what we want is it within at least 5 to 10%, you know, for the same fight. What you want to do is, if you do Malifar the Savage 5 times, you want those 5 DPS parses to be within 5 to 10% of each other. That's really your goal. It will fluctuate. It'll never be the exact same, because sometimes you'll get crits, sometimes you won't. However, without having full accuracy, it may fluctuate 15 to 20% swings, and that's bad. It's bad for progression, because if you're not hitting things, then the chance of you hitting in rage, especially in hard mode, where all the enraged timers are tighter, and there's a lot more emphasis on DPS. You can maybe get away with it in story mode if you're over geared, but the general consensus is accuracy to cap is the ultimate thing. If you think about it as a telekinetic sage, if you imagine your turbulence getting resisted, it's a disaster for your DPS. It is an absolute disaster, because most of your damage comes from turbulence. That's always the spec that we use as the example for accuracy, is you don't want these things to be resisted. Dot spec, you can maybe get away with a few of your dots being resisted, but bear in mind your dots also proc things. You know, your dots have a chance to proc Spinning Strike. If you're getting your dots resisted, then it's less chance to get a Spinning Strike proc, which results in less damage overall. So again, it's just that consistency that we like. Generally, progression guilds love consistency in DPS. You'd rather do a bit less but be more consistent, because that is the key, is consistency in DPS. So that is all for this video. Hopefully we explained why we need accuracy. So again, it's 100 melee, 110 force, just to recap quickly. So there you go. We don't want to be, ideally we don't want to be showing up to raids less than 100%. The guild I was in, I'm still currently in that guild actually, on the Empire with my merc. I don't really do a lot of raiding with them. I tend to do casual things, but one of their requirements for story mode ops is you must be 100% accuracy if you're signing up as a DPS. That was one of the requirements. You're subject to an inspection, which I think is a bit extreme. But again, it just shows you how much we value accuracy as a DPS. 99.5 you can maybe get away with. Basically that's 7 accuracy pieces plus without the augment. So 7 accuracy pieces of gear plus the augment. Essentially 1 augment. Now we will cover this as well, but I'll cover this here, is the legacy companions we're going to talk about. Your companion unlocks. What you want to do is get 1 melee tank companion. You can see here I've done it with Kaizen. Grants a bonus to your accuracy. It is a 1% accuracy bonus, which for DPS is huge. So you want to get any melee tank. It doesn't matter which one. I just happened to do Kaizen. I did it on my Sage. So you get that 1% accuracy. You can see with Kira you get 1% surge. Doc you get 1% healing received. And Mako you get, yeah, Mako's the same, healing received. Vet gives you 1% crit for a ranged companion. So you've got ranged companion, melee companion, ranged tank, melee tank is what you've got, and the healer. Every class gets the same thing. It doesn't matter which one you do it on in Legacy. So it's any melee tank. That is of course Kaizen, Scourge. I don't remember who it is for the trooper actually. I'll show you how little I play the trooper. It is what is it? Bodar is the Wookiee, at least. The agent, it's Scorpio. The warrior, it's the Tals, can't remember his name. Sith warrior, in fact the Sith warrior, it's the Tals. I think it's Torian Kadira for the bounty hunter, and the Inquisitor, it's Kemval. So get one of them. Just get one of them to max affection, because you'll unlock it for every character in your legacy. So that 1% boost, the 1% boost means that we need to take 1 less piece of gear. And you see we've got accuracy. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of accuracy, plus the augment that we've got in here. I just go for the 178 one just because it's quicker. I mean, it gets us to the 100%. It gets us to the 100%. That's all we're concerned about. The extra endurance, we don't really care about that. Even though we're a melee DPS, maybe we should care about it, but we are a shadow and we have a crap ton of endurance anyway. So anyway, that is all for this video. So thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again soon, and goodbye.